why are they warfare?
Well, relationships are spiritual warfares for the soul of humanity. Being in a loving relationship is a rebellion against the dark forces trying to destroy humanity.
Absolutely.
There is concerted efforts to make life as hard as possible on you and everyone else to wipe out humanity. It's a Methuselan cult.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be straight up. You have the globalists, the WEF, NATO, UN are just straight up trying to destroy humanity. And that's where you have all these transgender BS and all these other different things that have been pushed onto society the last 20, 30 years. And you have the intentional increase of inflation from governments that makes it to where, a single person can't really build a good household on their own.
That's
so
true.
you need the second person. So at the times we need the help most,
Be
we're
together. Yes.
yeah, people are feeling more alone and depressed than they ever have. Okay.
And that's the time when the evil can take over.
Well, yeah, it's, that's why, you call drinking spirits when you're in a bad mood, you can get swept away with those bad moods and bring things in that you really don't want to. I know it's not your fault that, the dating scene has gotten much worse, especially after the pandemic. Everybody got into their little cocoons and doesn't want to come out.
I'm guilty of that myself. I have my hobby, so I was in my cocoon. Yes.
I luckily as an investor, I still have to go out there, network, and do things to keep moving life forward. But, not everybody is like that. So you have a lot more people, they're being more shut in. Everybody's trying to go online. And, I'm sorry, guys, the women have gone to a point where their expectations of what they want in a relationship are completely disconnected from reality.
Yeah.
They're wanting
Yes,
to
6 foot
just
tall and 100 grand income a year and all of those things. But in reality, if you have a motivated individual who is on the mission and he's driven, you can still mate with that individual and build your future together. You don't need him to be successful from the get-go.
Well, and the expectation on the 6 foot, 6 figures, I'm sorry, ladies, those guys that are decent are married.
Yes.
The ones that are left in that 6 foot and up category, because, the average guy is only 5'6".
Unless they play basketball.
But,
Yes, I agree.
There are plenty of decent guys around, ladies. You just have to get to realistic standards. Because, those ones that are that 6 foot make 100 grand a year that are single, those are the narcissistic sociopaths that are 0.34% of the male population. So 1/3 of 1%. And those are the guys that the majority of you are sleeping with, and you're all jaded and pissed off at all men for this small little sliver of guys that you're all competing with.
Yes.
That are not relationship material.
So how do we make sure that the dark forces will not take over? And we have people who fall in love and procreate and continue the Adam and Eve story.
Well, before we get to the Adam and Eve story, why don't we even have the desire to mate or be with anybody again? It comes down to it's in the DNA.
Yeah, DNA.
The desire to procreate. And that's what the purpose of your DNA is, to procreate, to survive long term. It's how you build legacies. And, we have culture trying to change and tell you women, go do a career and, end up in your 40s, 50s, cat lady alone and miserable.
Or you find someone and then that guy is not financially secure according to your standards, and
You leave him.
You leave him and you don't give a chance, and then you stay single for years and years. Or there's so many different situations where, oh, I don't know, guys maybe not healthy, or maybe his looks are not as appealing to you, but you didn't really take a chance to get to know that individual person on a soul level. You didn't ask questions. You didn't connect with that individual, and you probably missed the chance too.
Oh yeah, we know several of even our friends that are ladies that, were in cushy government jobs, that, the guy made not quite as much as her, and they had wonderful relationships, and she just walks up and leaves because he's not making enough money in her standard. Money should not have anything to do with who you're choosing in a relationship.
That's true.
This is I'm not Christian, never will be. Learned how it's actually taught. Good fan of what Jesus taught, just not a fan of the fan club. Easiest way of saying it.
Yes, there you go.
And kindest way I can think to say it, because they don't understand what he taught. But back to where we're going, the spiritual warfare, the focusing on the money, the love of money is the root of evil. Money is just a tool, and it should be used no differently than a hammer and a nail. You use it for its purpose and keep moving. But when it becomes the goal and ends and means itself, that's when it starts to be corrupt and take over your lives.
Yeah, absolutely can do that. It can.
And, it's not just the money distractions that people are getting into. It's all this, switch of gender roles on TV, and all this LGBTQ BS. It's like there's two genders. Male, female, that's it. Like, yes, there is that very rare 1 in a million case for somebody's genetically deformed and they end up with both. But unless you're that 1 in a million, you only got this choice.
So why do you think this is happening, Jedi? The people becoming gay and lesbians, and people just value money more than a real soul-to-soul connection?
Well, we got two topics there.
Yeah.
So for the first one, the gay and lesbian thing, it is a subconscious choice. It is taught in culture. Like if you go to most other countries, it's between 0 to 1%. Yet you look at modern colleges, you'll see 20 to 30% of the young kids are saying they're something other than straight and the gender they were born as.
And I'm going to pitch in and say something that when I used to grow up in Russia, and we on TV, the United States was depicted, and I always remember the United States being as a paradise, as a great place to live and a great opportunity to go. And if we go to Russia now or any other countries, the United States is actually, people all over the world, they actually laughing at the United States, at Americans, and it might be attributed to the gay lesbian thing or many other things. But
there's many things. Yeah, men have forgotten how to be men. Women are pretending to be men and think they don't need men anymore, thanks to sugar daddy government. With the HUD, the food stamps, things like that, where women can actually get paid more on government assistance to have more kids and stay out of wedlock. So there's no benefit for them to get married.
Yes.
And the way the legal setup is, there's no benefit for the guys because he's going to lose half of what he owns plus paying child support and not even get to see his kids. And it's not a fun thing. But yeah, for the first one you said, it's the TV, the culture. There's an active push to be pushing it on children. And that's why, parents, don't let your kids have this shit. Like, a teenager should not have a phone, especially not a preteen. And there's a reason Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they didn't let their kids have phones till they're almost adults. Because they know how much it corrupts the brain. They get bad influences that you're not paying attention to. Like it used to be back in the day before Disney went woke. You know, parents would watch a movie in the evening with the kids to wind down. And then, you know, you could talk out the things you saw. Well, at least this is how it happened with my dad. You know, would talk about the things in the movie. So you made sure you got the right messages from the movie. When you just let your kids, you know, go into whatever screen time they want without supervision, you know, the computer, the TV starts raising them instead of you, and we just have society generally degrade.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have these culture things, but we can still work on making it better. So, let me hear your thoughts on, you know, whether you think relationships are spiritual warfare, and, you know, you're actually a rebel by trying to be in love. Any other thought?
Yeah, that was a good conversation. You definitely want to hear your thoughts. Give us some feedback of where you at and what help you need with finding your ideal partner.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye.